let's join a short, reduced version. You could also sit there, but good. Apologies for waiting, but still on procurements. Yeah, and I will jump immediately without the fa-fa-fas, but there are some concrete questions. Firstly, Christian, you mentioned this common standard version 4, yeah, and sort of like a Bruce Willis movie type. What should the suppliers expect? Something die hard, or what is there to expect? Yeah.
I believe. Thank you for the question. First of all, I believe that. We will improve it going forward, especially we will address more precisely the sanctions topic. We, of course, together with our partners in the project, went through an exercise of analyzing what risks the participation potentially of Russian or Belarusian suppliers and suppliers and services might, what disruption it might cause to the project. And we've analysed the sanctions, and we keep an eye on the sanctions and also the continuous development of the sanctions. So these are the topics, first and foremost, that we will address in there. And also noting the turbulence and volatility in the market, we wish to simplify where we can, create efficiency, and be more flexible towards the marketplace in these times. So please watch this space for the changes, and surely we will communicate on those changes once we have got to that place.
Good, thank you. Then there was one specific, it was quite popular after Jean-Marc's presentation, CCS procurement in Christmas. And that, I think, it is concrete question on the CCS procurement. Would there be sufficient time to submit, let's say, the applications? But I think also shortly, if you could describe how we choose at least the kickoff period, yeah, so it's not too short, not too long. Perhaps I could give the floor to you.
Yeah, no, in any case, even if we are launching something before any type of holidays, either Christmas or any other, we are considering that this is time when most probably nobody is working and having a great holidays. So we exclude this period of time out of that submission time anyways. So it doesn't matter actually. Regarding the length, there are several items what we consider. First of all, what is the total time frame of particular procurement, because we have to deliver the project and we have a concrete program where we have to fit in also with the procurement timeline. So this is the first aspect. Second, of course, is to understand how complex is the subject and the documents that suppliers have to prepare, and this also may be in various ways. Yeah, there could be a situation where the qualification criteria or the technical documents are quite easy to be prepared, and you don't need much time for that. Yeah, so this is basically the second aspect what we are considering. So it could be from 1-2 months to even 6 months, depending on the complexity of the subject matter and the documents to be prepared.
Colleague, something to add?
Maybe just one word on the timeline. Of course, we always also look out for any feedback that we have, which goes back to the comments that Asta made in her presentation, that if there are concerns during the procurement procedure when the documents have been published, please do get in touch with us. Please do ask. If you see any sort of problems with deadlines, also please highlight them and justify them so that we can consider that. So I think maybe just to highlight that part.
So for a short reply also specifically on CCS, those interested parties, I think you can enjoy the Christmas Eve at least.
Yes, it will be a wonderful Christmas for signallers.
Good. Also a specific question. How are social and sustainability objectives captured through the procurements? So how are social and sustainability objectives captured through procurement?
I don't know if my colleagues want to answer. Maybe I can just lead into that.
Yeah.
There are different ways how to address any such requirement. So, and we always go through the process of analyzing what it is that we need to achieve. So from the requirements for the project, from the initiatives that we have for the organization, for the project, and indeed for the higher level in terms of the Baltic countries and the EU, then from that side we build up the requirements, and these requirements might be reflected in procurement direct requirements, meaning qualification requirements, compliance requirements, evaluation conditions, or we might indeed have something specific in the scope to be delivered during the implementation, or something in the contract. So there's no one-size-fits-all in that regard. We have certain procurement procedures where we have these qualitative criteria that address certain topics with regard to these items as well, I believe. However, this is something that during the specifying of any conditions we always keep in mind as well. So we had our colleagues earlier today talking about the scopes and how to implement the zero energy and all these kind of things. So already from the point of view of when we develop the scopes, these requirements are there. So it's not just a question for procurement, but it's a wider question of building up the requirements, I would say.
Then I will wrap up, I think, with one a little bit philosophical question. Yeah, and I think that this team representing and having extensive experience both in Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, but also beyond, and now also in Rail Baltic. Well, let's say, and going together, Christian, what you mentioned, yeah, on a bad joke that has come like a reality. How is the dynamics in procurement sector in the Baltics, but also in EU? And are, let's say, new skills required to address the new situation? And let's say, of course, from the context of Rail Baltic. And I would appreciate a short comment from each of you.
Wonderful. If I kick off, and yeah. Thank you. This is an interesting question. I would say certainly what's happening is that the current circumstances and turbulent times have opened up the opportunity for accepting different practices. So of course any region and any market segment, they have their own practices instilled through time that the procurement professionals and the market players are used to. Now, new times require new practices and new ways of doing things. So I would say it's more about the openness from the market participants, the suppliers, to accept different ways for the contracting authorities to procure, and for the contracting authorities and for the decision makers, the beneficiaries, the stakeholders, for them to accept a different approach. So I think this openness is being created for that. And we have to recognize that what is considered as best practice in a different region may not be something that is a prevalent practice in our region, and this is also one of the things that we are trying to establish going forward, is taking these best practices from different regions where railway projects are being undertaken, and providing the awareness and providing the tools and means and knowledge to push the boundaries and to improve. But that's just a short comment from me. I would hand over to my colleagues now. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Astu?
Yeah, I just can add to what Christian said that, yes, of course, obviously, we are learning every day new things, and taking into consideration also all new, let's say, waves and trends in the procurement, like green course, like social aspect in the procurements. Of course, we have to learn and to implement new things every day, and we have to think always how to improve and how to get on this to be in line first with the requirements, and of course to be in line with these high values and priorities which are raised by European Commission and by the countries, and taking into consideration all the things on climate change and everything. Of course, we have to learn every day.
Good. Thank you. I guess something to add?
It's a daily challenge, yeah, how to implement such a mega project in public procurement frame what we have. This is the first thing. And second thing, let's be honest, we also are learning by doing, because this is also the way how to see what is the market reaction. That's why we much appreciate any feedback from the market during market consultations, during the procurement, with the questions, with challenging us and asking us the questions. And then we also have our internal some kind of workshops and discussions how we can improve and how to better achieve the goal what we intend to have.
Thank you. Margo?
Public procurement professionals, as we are, I mean, we are using public funds, and we tend to wish to eliminate any risk in what we do. But I think the last few years have shown that we cannot eliminate all risks, and we must be certain that some risks will stay, and we will need to learn new ways of doing things, to be more flexible, and to recognize that we are all in this together. The goal is the same.
Excellent. And colleagues, thank you very much. Jan and Christian, I think that also not only the professionalism and transparency and openness, but also the culture that you have developed across the team, not only in RB Rail, but across the project. So thank you for that. And thank you all speakers for presenting your parts. I think that is something for everyone to especially those working on procurement, to look regularly into, I would say.